Hello there. Thank you so much for returning to the Royal Treatment. I love the fact that I am now on YouTube talking about all things natural, curly, and the like. Having fun, that's the goal, is to have fun and also share some education from a curl artist that many people have not had on this particular channel in this way that I plan to present. I plan to be very approachable and open-minded when it comes to hair care and not necessarily creating rules or things that you have to follow. I believe in guidelines and principles, true enough, but I want to be authentic in how I present myself. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know I can't do anything but that. So the question is, and was presented to me, should Black women continue to get curly cuts? That is an excellent question, especially considering the temperature, if you will, of where we're at with that. And my answer as a curl artist, it may surprise you. Hang in. So let's get into it. I love these kind of conversations because I feel like it opens up dialogue. It is a reality check for all stylists to actually address client concerns. Open communication is probably the best way to retain clients. So if there are any stylists out there, tune in. Maybe this is something that you have wanted to address other curl artists and you've kind of been afraid because the temperature of the water was hot, baby. Yes, it was. Yes, it is. And it's okay. Because if you've learned something along the way, then I don't think it's a problem with sharing it. People appreciate when you say, hey, you know what? I'm learning and I've adjusted based on the new things that I've come into contact with, and I'm going to share it and not be ashamed to do so. So that's where I'm at. So anyway, back to the question. You know, how I address hair is the fabric that's in front of me. I have always been known for cutting hair in different formats. I've cut hair wet, I've cut hair dry, I've blow dried, I've stretched, I've cut hair in its natural curly state with no products. And I've also done curly cuts in a curly set, meaning set under the hooded dryer and the curls are in their finished natural setting, if you will. So I don't mind having that discussion. I've had different modes of education that have helped me to be able to pull out whatever tool that I need when I need it. And I think health of the hair is subjective for people. What they may want done to their hair, I may not consider the most healthiest for their hair, but that's what they choose. They're okay with that level of compromise to their cuticle layer. And let me just give you, for instance, silkening the hair, straightening the hair, that is going to compromise the cuticle. Can you still have healthy hair in that particular style? Yeah, it's all relative. So what you consider healthy for you, that's what matters. And there is a standard, although, for healthy hair. And so that's what we're talking about here when it comes to curly cutting, whether or not it maintains the health of the hair. And I think those nuances and where people come into that conversation, it really does matter to take it layer by layer. But one of the major things that I think have really come to the forefront in all the discussions and everything, that curly cuts for Black women, there wasn't a thing. Mostly white women were getting the curly cuts and it got introduced to us. It's a nuance, it's very still new, and we're still learning the short-term and long-term effects of it. Where I stand right now is I've reassessed the need, I would say, to do hair or cut hair rather, in its stretched or blown out state, at least initially, because it does allow me to see the true structure of that hair shaft and whether or not it really needs some addressing. And the assessment clearly is shown. You know, it is what it is. I don't think that really doing hair just one way is good for anybody. There is no one size fits all in hair care or hairstyles, period. So I don't mind doing what needs to be done, how it needs to be done. And doing it in this way allows me to see how to get that hair to the healthiest state first. And so I want that hair thick, baby, thick, all the way from the roots to the ends. And so the adjustment that I am doing, well, before I even get there, I don't expect every strand of the hair to be all the same length. Let's just get that straight. There are going to be flicks or flyaways. There's going to be pieces of hair or strands of hair that don't necessarily come all the way to the ends because they're in different stages of growth. Anagen, catagen, telogen, exogen phase, all of those are happening at multiple different rates all along different strands of hair. So the expectation to have every strand the same length is unreasonable, and scientifically it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. So having perfect hair, absolutely no split end ever on your head after a haircut, I think we just need to take the expectation down. So another thing is assessing the hair in its naked state. Shampooing and cleansing the hair allows professionals to really be able to see what that hair looks like without any product in it. So that's really when the hair is in its best state to be assessed. And so in its naked state without having any gels or any other products in the hair. So after that assessment, and we decide on whether we're going to stretch the hair, because some people are absolutely no heat, it is incumbent upon us to be able to have something in the hair so far as a leave-in, maybe even a light conditioning spray to be able to work through that hair, so we can actually have a smoother process of being able to comb through that hair, so we're not breaking and doing the exact opposite of what we're there to do in the first place. So doing things in a healthy way is always important. I see that a lot of people are just totally against heat no matter what, but most of the reasons why we use heat protectant and all those things to blow out the hair, it's a temporary state that the hair is in, and we use those things to mitigate any damage that happens in the blown out state. And I think it's valuable to be able to do it that way. But of course, if it just doesn't fit your aesthetic for what you want done to your hair, I can understand that. And we can proceed with doing it on stretched hair. So that being said, how we're moving now is creating that foundation, making sure the hair is as healthy as it can be, and then we're on to the shape. I mean, who doesn't want a cute banging shape? I mean, you do want people to ask about your hair. Now, that's understood. We got to have that. I mean, if ain't nobody asking them, what we doing here? What are we doing here? So I love a good shape. I think it gives life to any style, whether you are a straight hair natural, whether you are a blowout, twist out girl, whatever it is, wash and go, however you're wearing your hair. I think a good shape makes that hair just pop. But that's just me. That's just me. But creating that foundation of a good blowout, addressing all those needs and making sure that the hair is in good health. Then we focus on the shape. That's a sweet spot for me. And I think doing a blowout every 6 months, alternating between a curly cut, if you so desire, and a blowout to keep the hair in its optimal health, that's where I'm landing these days. And I think my clients are really happy about that. So I've also been able to technically give a good shape just with the blow dry. Sometimes you may have to tweak a curl or two. I mean, because if you got the loose curls at the nape and those look a little wonky after you've gotten, you know, a good blown out cut, that's a minimal cleanup for your shape. But if you want more sharp angles and those kind of things, we can do that in the blown out state and then do the tweaking in a finished dry curly cut. So it's a way to marry the two as well. So the question was, should Black women be getting curly cuts? The answer is, it depends. Depends on your goals at that time. For some, that all they want is a good trim. They're happy. Like I said, they're not interested in the shape. They just want healthy hair. So keep it moving. You can keep the curly cuts as far as they're concerned. That's fine with me as well. So I think the scenario where we are now is just for Black women to know what they're getting and to know what they're not getting. And I'm okay with providing clarity and being transparent about the things that I have come to accept about what curly cuts can do and what curly cuts cannot do. And I'm okay with that. I've never been in a box, if you will, before. I was never orthodox in my approach, so this is nothing new. Like I said, I love to cut her hair in different formats, and it's just another day at work. But I have grown, and I've also seen some things that other clients have brought to my attention, to make sure, even from a client perspective, that I'm addressing how they feel and what they've seen and experienced from other stylists, not necessarily even my own. So the adjustment hasn't necessarily because I've seen what I need to see in my own clients, because relatively their hair was in decent to great shape even when they've gone to other stylists. But there's always people that could have had some assessment elsewhere and gotten different news. But more importantly, I think that just being open to the conversation, being open to making the changes that our clients are demanding and that really are in order. I think that's the ticket to really being able to continue to provide excellent customer service, and to continue to call yourself someone that cares for hair. So that's all, folks. Thank you. And please, if this video resonates with you, if it makes sense, if you like it, hey, hit that button and subscribe. I'd love to see you back.